Somad has publicly promoted extremist, divisive teachings. First, he has claimed that suicide bombing attacks are legitimate and they are legitimate martyrdom operations. Second, he has also made highly derogatory, denigrating remarks about Christianity. He even tells Muslims not to travel in Red Cross ambulances with crucifixes because, the cross. You think this is acceptable in Singapore? He has labeled non-Muslims as kafirs, infidels. That's most of you here and most Singaporeans. He has preached that Muslims should not accept non-Muslims as their leaders, given that he says non-Muslims could conspire to oppress Muslims and, I quote, slit their throats. You would consider that acceptable in Singapore? So the language, the rhetoric, as you can see, is very divisive, completely unacceptable in Singapore. Somad, we have known of him for some time. Some of the people that ISD has investigated in Singapore for radicalization, one of the things we picked up is that they were watching videos of Somad, were following his preachings. One of them was a 17-year-old detained under the Internal Security Act in 2 years ago, January 2020. He had watched Somad's YouTube lectures on suicide bombing. And the young boy began to believe that if you fought for ISIS and if you are a suicide bomber, you will die, you can die as a martyr and receive rewards in heaven. After Somad was denied entry into Singapore, he has taken to the social media, given interviews, and this is my own perspective, but the denial has given him publicity. So he is making maximum use of the publicity, and he has now, in my view, engaging in more publicity stunts. He says that he will try to enter Singapore again. But his reasons why he will try and enter Singapore again, I think it's very important for Singaporeans to look at the reasons he has given. He says Singapore is, and I quote, Melayu land, Tanah Melayu, claims that people in Riau see Singapore as part of their land because of Singapore's history as part of Temasek Malay Kingdom. So this is all part of Indonesia, the larger Tanah Melayu. Therefore, our sovereignty is irrelevant. We are not a separate country from his perspective. Now, I'll point out three aspects. First, the response of the Indonesian government. It's been very proper. If you notice, it accepts that it's for Singapore to decide who can come into Singapore. It's absolutely right, just like it's for Indonesia to decide who can go into Indonesia. Second, the majority of Indonesians. Our sense is that many of them recognize what Somad and his supporters are up to, or what they are really up to. Third, specific to Somad and his supporters, as I said earlier, they don't respect Singapore as a separate country. They call this Tanah Melayu. They can tell us what to do. It tells you what they really think of Singapore. And if we don't do what they tell us, then they threaten attacks. And I have said this on many occasions. We take a zero tolerance approach, an even-handed approach towards any form of hate speech and divisive ideology. We will not allow persons like Somad any opportunity to build up a local following or engage in activities that threatens our security and communal harmony. Somad was not singled out for his religion, but his views, which are unacceptable in the Singapore context. We will continue with our zero tolerance approach against any form of hate speech and ideologies and protect all religions equally